What up? So, sixth episode. It's good, everybody. I see I got the in-ears today, so I can really hear what y'all are hearing. I see this is how the streamers are doing it. I really wanted to, hold on. I can tell it's too loud. I really wanted to be cool and not use some sort of alternative monitoring system and just come out the speakers, the studio monitors rather. But I think this works better. Just already off top, I feel like this is gonna work better. Plus, I've gotten used to making beats with these headphones, with these in-ears. These are just the Shure 215s, and the reason I really wanted to get used to them is because these are what I use when I'm on the road a lot, doing shows with like Miss Hill and stuff like that. And well, first of all, I just started to kind of get used to how they sound, but I knew I was gonna be traveling a lot with this push, and I wanted to just get my ears accustomed to using, what I would most likely have on me, something portable, and small, carrying big, like bulky headphones like these Avantones that I got. These I just can't really just be lugging these around in my backpack every day. So I just been using these, and so I've gotten really used to how they sound, which is cool. So I'm gonna test that out today. Man, how y'all doing? My name is Kid Maestro. If you don't know, I'm a producer, engineer, artist, and president of a creative company called Unapologetic here based in Memphis. We are a storytelling-based label. We also have a production company. We do events, and we also make clothes, which I want to shout out. This past week was crazy, bro. It was insane. So if y'all tuned in last week to the last episode, y'all might have heard me mention that we were collaborating with the Memphis Grizzlies, an NBA team. And we've done this collaboration. We've collaborated with them 3 times in the past year. Yeah, it was dope. We did it again. So they have this thing called 191 collabs presented by Hennessy. And what it is the Grizzlies, they partner with local designers and clothes makers, streetwear, whoever, and they do a collaborative Grizzlies line, and then they present it at one of the games, and it's a night and people come and buy it. Hopefully, last year it was only available for that one night, but they started to keep the rest of the stock in the store available for purchase if it wasn't completely sold out. And so yeah, we did that. We were the first group of people to do this collaboration. As a matter of fact, we kind of designed how the program would go with them. We were the prototype, and it was a huge success. And so we came back. So the second time we did it, they did I don't know what you got, like a reunion. So we were the first ones, but there were several other clothing designers here in Memphis that were a part of this 191 collabs program or whatever. And they, like, after everybody was done, after everybody did their night, they brought everybody back for like a big, like a collective drop, and everybody did like one piece. So our first drop, we did a Letterman jacket, we did some hoodies, a t-shirt, we did socks, we did a hat as well. And then on that like collaborative one where everybody was in it, we only did one piece. We did a baseball jersey, which was cool. But this time they want to bring us back for, an official Unapologetic Grizzlies collab again. And so it was dope. We did a hoodie, which I should have wore today. I'm tripping. We did a hoodie. We did another t-shirt, which was fire. We did joggers. And we did a skirt. And I believe this is the first Grizzlies skirt that has ever been in production. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, it was a dope night. And we were blessed to be able to do that again. It was fun. But I'm gonna tell you, the thing that really made it special was the fact that we performed. So let me tell y'all what's up. Let me tell this story. So I don't know. I can hear this gate is bothering me, which I couldn't hear before because I didn't have these on and I had the speakers super low. So let me adjust this real quick. Hold on. Probably won't even need it anymore because I'm not coming out the speakers. All right, we're good. Okay. So we perform. So we're performing at we performed at the pre-show, the pre-game show, and we performed at halftime. Okay. So interesting story. So there's an artist on Unapologetics roster called A Weirdo from Memphis, AWFM for short, AWFM. And A Weirdo from Memphis is y'all would just have to look him up. He is one of the most unique and polarizing and artistic and creative beings I've ever had the privilege of coming in contact with, and even more so getting to work with. We actually kind of cut our teeth together, but that's another story. But anyway, we have this artist called A Weirdo from Memphis, and his brand is really based around fire, hell, and all these kinds of themes are in it, and the topics that he discusses in his music range from playful to masturbation to door dashing in the streets and getting shot at and seeing dead people, all kinds of just crazy stuff. Y'all just have to listen to him. He's amazing. And yeah, so but one thing he's gonna do, if nothing else, is he's gonna put on an amazing show. He's super creative, and that's really where he shines. So when we got approached to do this collaboration again, way back, months and months and months ago, last year, part of it was that what we discussed was that we were gonna do the halftime show and the pregame show, because we did that the first time, and that was super dope. We got to be in front of a bunch of people. It was great optics, all of that. Okay, so when we got approached to do this months and months and months and months and months ahead of time, that was something that was discussed that we would do again. That was going to be a part of us doing this collaboration again. And so it comes down to it, right? We're close. We're a month or so out now, and we're trying to get in contact with people to further some details, because we wanted particular creative control over certain elements, and we were having a hard time getting in contact with the right people that regarding that. So finally we do, and then this is 2 weeks out. So we decide, okay, it's gonna be myself, other producer, our CEO and founder, I Make Mad Beats, and another producer who's a part of the Garments team and the label, C Major. Us three, we're gonna do a beat show at the pregame, and A Weirdo from Memphis is gonna do halftime. We discussed that amongst ourselves, and now we're trying to get details. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're working towards. 2 weeks out, we finally get in contact to discuss the details of the show, because we want to know if we could do certain things, if some things can be available, and in advance the show, do the input list, and just all the production stuff. And so then we find out that the person who didn't approach us about doing the show directly, that's not the person that talked to us about doing the collaboration months and months ago, but the person that's more so in charge of managing the performances and that kind of stuff. We find out when we get in contact with this person that there is already something booked for that night, and we are not on the schedule to perform at all. They actually already scheduled gospel night, so it was fully gospel night, and I think churches were gonna kind of be there or whatever, and they were gonna have gospel artists on the bill. And so we're like, what? And so we're not even on the roster. So there's some sort of lapse in communication on their side, to where and I guess on our side too, where we thinking we're performing we were told we were going to perform, we'd be able to perform, and then come to find out they had already booked this time, and whatever. And so that was honestly a tough hit, and it was tough for me. I was angry, to be honest. I was like super frustrated, but definitely the impact of that not happening in regards to what I'm trying to accomplish this year, like it was like a very small dent. You know what I'm saying? I think I was more so frustrated and more so the feeling of like the disrespect and disregard, you know what I'm saying? And up to that point there were several things that just wasn't happening like smoothly, and it was hard to like get in contact with people and all of that, and it started to feel like a burden, because like all these things that we wanted to do that was making it something worthwhile just felt like they were getting chopped off the table. And this show not happening, us not being able to perform at all, just kind of was like, all right, come on now, like why are we even doing this? That was the feeling. But I gotta shout out Awful, bro, because Awful, man, he had been preparing for this way harder than everybody. I mean, this man was doing 2-a-days and training and eating grass to make sure he was in shape, because that's what is required for him to give his best performance. And he had been really consistent with it for 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Every single day, no stop. And it, I don't know, it was this was going to be a big moment for him. This was the first of a series of dominoes that was going to fall, and it was just going to be great, and he was going to put on an amazing performance. And he's really creative with that stuff, so he had put a lot of thought into what was going to go on and invested a lot of money, all of that. And so that happens. It was like dejecting. And then we get a text and it said they figured something out, and now we performing. Okay, so it's now this is, so we had kind of said, all right, we're not performing. Then like a week and a half out from the performance, it's like we back on. All right, cool. So we back doing it. All right. So in my mind, like, we're not exactly sure what got worked out, but the only logical thing to me is that they rescheduled gospel night, right? That they decided they contact them. They realized, oh man, we messed up. They pulled some strings and they just rescheduled it. Bro, we get there and we find out they did not reschedule gospel night. They just said, we just gonna put them in. We just gonna put them in. You know what I'm saying? So we got a weirdo from Memphis, which I told you his branding is like extremely polarizing. I mean, he wears red contacts, a grill that says shit across the front of it. All that juxtaposed by like gospel night, which I rock with, because to me that's kind of a reflection of like real life. But that's a whole other story. But you can't deny the irony and the kind of humor in the juxtaposition, right? Given the whole circumstance. So, what I come to find out, so we do the pre-show and we do halftime, and what I come to find out is they basically put us more so as like the house band, and they still kept like the main act, which was Evie McKinney, who is also from Memphis, as like the premier halftime show. So she got all like the lights and all of that, and then we basically performed. And then, speaking at halftime, right after she gets done doing her set. Okay, cool. So, it's obviously a little bit disappointing because Awful, she performed on the floor, which Awful wanted to do, and they said no, probably because they already had her stuff set up. So that makes sense. But the players went back out on the court, so we didn't get quite the light show. You know what I'm saying? So, and she murdered it, to be honest. Like, she was amazing. So to follow that, given all the circumstances and the lack of, production comparatively, just was like, ooh, it's a tough act to follow. But bro, my man, off him. First of all, I can't remember the last time anybody had pyro at the Grizzly show, but he thought to ask for it, and he got fire on that side stage up in the FedEx Forum, and he had the whole the halftime show is only like 3 minutes, but he C Major and I kind of like programmed the show where it was like it was great. If you want to listen to some of the songs we performed, particularly this one called Bomb the World, check out the Unapologetic World app. It's in there, limited, so only like 24 hours, so cop that junk. Go listen to it. But so we had pyro, the whole crew, our collection is black, so we all blacked out, just as a bunch of us on that stage. And we on the Jumbotron, and bro, it was crazy, bro. Awesome, really shut it down. And then with the addition of like actual fire on the stage, this is the first time I think any of us had like done a show with a real like pyrotechnics, and it was, bro, we just have to show some pictures. There's plenty of video and pictures in our app, so if you're interested in like what I'm talking about and how this all looked and felt, just go check it out. It was crazy. But man, I just really want to take the time to shout him out. He often killed it. It was an amazing experience, and he definitely did his thing, following Evie McKinney. And the juxtaposition, I definitely could peep it, threw a lot of people off, because we performed like literally right after her. But like once the fire hit and everything started to settle in, like people was locked in, and it was not something that you would ever forget, whether you rocked with it or not. So I just want to shout out Awful, shout out our team. Also want to talk about like what it was like performing at the pregame. So I'm pretty sure that was the first time there was a producer like instrumental like performance at the Grizzlies game. So that was a huge win, milestone moment for us three, myself, Mad Beats, and C Major. And it was dope, bro, because y'all know we've been cooking consistently and dropping music for 8 weeks now. Taj and Tapes Volume 8 is available today. Check the link in the description. Because another thing, oh yeah, there's a lot we got to catch up on. But back to the performance. So, that was dope. Like, a lot of my, like, the people who I like am kind of looking up to, who I look up to really the most, in terms of like the direction I see my career going, is definitely in the vein of the producer, artist, the performing producer guy who gets on stage and is performing his beats, Flying Lotuses of the world, your knowledge is your, I don't know, Mind Design, I guess, Susie, they also are vocal artists as well, but like, those, Susie Analog, they're those types of people. And I see myself in that same vein. So to be on a huge stage in front of thousands of people, playing productions that I've made over the past couple years, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't too many, because it was 3 of us and we were going back and forth, and the pre-show is only like 10 minutes. So it wasn't a super long set, but it was great. We had in-ears, and we were up on the Jumbotron, and it was just really fun. We were just rocking out. I'm doing like all the classic like beat repeat performer producer stuff, and it was just, I don't know, it was dope. I have a background in live performance, like production. Like in college I did like live sound with a traveling ensemble called Sound Fusion, and I was the engineer. I did both monitor engineer and front of house, and then I did that, kind of led me into handling a lot of the production stuff with Unapologetic, and I've done live sound for various concerts and stuff around town over the years. And then that went into like playback engineering and that whole world and putting shows together. And so I'm comfortable in those spaces, but and I've performed before, but it's not always that like, but most of my experience wasn't me on stage. And certainly most of my experiences wasn't me presenting my art that wasn't attached to like a vocal artist, which I love doing that. Like we're about to go on tour. Me, Pro, C Major, a Widow from Memphis. We're going back on tour, the weirdly luxurious tour, and I love that. But you know, my songs being performed by themselves, like it doesn't happen too much, and you know, it's part of, you know, I think my insecurities as an artist, my shame, you know, that's deep rooted in terms of what I do. You know, that's shown up in a lot of places in my life. It's part of why I do the Taj and Taves beat series and why I'm dropping every week. It's because I'm swinging the pendulum the other way, and I'm getting, you know, I'm getting the reps in of actually talking about my art and being an artist instead of being just background support for everybody else's dreams. Like I get to take part of that pie, and there's enough for everybody. And you know, if I don't get over my insecurities or fear of rejections and and all those things, then I'm not going to be able to, I don't know, be fully fulfilled or truly do what I want to do. Same goes for live performances. Like if I'm not advocating for me to get on stage and also be an artist as much as I support other artists being on stage, like I'm doing it to myself at this point. So that was a great moment for me. I had a lot of fun. And I feel like the growth of being on stage as a live performer for me is, I don't know, it was cool. Like, but at the same time, it was like, I know that there's like another level. And what I mean by that is, I don't know, I still am in this position mentally where I want my live performance to be all these things that I haven't really seen yet. Like I want it to be really engaging for both me and the audience. But the people who have those types of shows, in my opinion, you know, from what I've seen, are way more like kind of EDM based, right? And the music just kind of lends itself. But the type of music that I do, when I see people performing that kind of stuff, it's not as engaging and to me, you know. And not to say that it's completely boring, or it is engaging and you just have no idea, like, okay, you know, what is it that you're doing? Is it, and I just feel like I've been on this journey of like trying to figure out, how do I want to perform live? And one thing that's been helpful is, because I'm an overthinker, one thing my man Da Vinci said is, just do the thing that's going to get you on stage tomorrow. Like if you had to perform like today, tonight, you know what I'm saying, what would you do? Do that and just get on stage and build the experience. And I've gone through many iterations of my live performance, and I've gotten it to the point where I feel like it can get engaging and I'm doing all kind of stuff, but all kind of crazy stuff. But now the challenge is, how do I make it engaging without like having to sacrifice like hours upon hours, not even rehearsing, not even practicing, but just setting the stuff up, right? Just setting up the set. And then how do I do that in a way where my setup is portable and minimal? And, I kind of have two main ways of operating. I also have a DJ background. I started DJing in 2013, so it's been about 10 years, and I've gotten really good at like that's the way. I don't have to think about that. Like I just can pull up with my controller and pull up Serato, throw the beats in there, and we can go and we can fill it out, in the moment, and it is what it is, and that's quick. And I feel like that's also fun for me, right? But it's not quite hitting the level of creativity that I want. That will require a little bit more like planning. And then so when I perform with Ableton, it's almost no spontaneity kind of involved right now, or like the spontaneity takes a lot to set up. And so I'm working on ways to combine those two worlds. If you know any like dope resources that kind of are in the vein of the stuff I make, who are performing and doing dope stuff, let me know. But I've been looking around for years, and I found some cool stuff. But honestly, just like a sneak peek into what I'm working on, like I feel like I'm just gonna have to build those systems myself. And so one of the things I would love to do is like to figure it out, and then like really share that knowledge, so people who kind of are in the same vein or style as me, who want to get on stage, have options on not just what to do, but different ways to think about it that suit the way you want to perform. Because there's multiple ways, and they all are gonna kind of require different things. And as I go on that journey for myself, I would love to share the knowledge. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, Taj and Taste Volume 8 is out today. It's Monday, so you know what it is. One thing that is very cool. So last stream, I spent a good portion of the time. I was kind of frustrated because I woke up and like our app. I was telling y'all how our app, when we're submitting like structural updates, it goes in review and you can't make changes. So basically Monday came and I went to make Taj and Tapes Volume 7 available, and I couldn't because it was in review. So I had to like go and upload it to these other places that's not the app, which was just a little frustrating because I thought we were like kind of past that, me having to do that when the music player wasn't working. So we had, I got on FX and it was like, dang, I just didn't see it coming. So it was just a little frustrating. But I wasn't going out. It was going to drop. I wasn't going to wait. But like as soon as I got done with that stream, got the text that it was out of review. And so it ended up not even really mattering because I was able to make it all available and it was all good. But let me tell you about what that update was. The update that was in review was we were working on the web version of the app. So as of last Monday, you do not have to have the Unapologetic World app installed on your phone to experience the app. You can experience it in your web browser and on your computer. And shout out to Mad Beats again, who's been developing this app. We worked on that. And so what that means for me is that when I drop the link to the app, there's one less barrier of entry. Now, if you're interested, please get the app. I think it's a better experience, but the web app is not that much of a difference. It's just a matter of like cohesion, I think. But now I can drop the link and people can, go and listen to Taj and Tapes and everything else that we're doing without there being that barrier of entry. So, there's always the folks that's like, I don't got no space on my phone. First of all, the app is only like 81 megabytes. It's not a big app. So you probably got space. But if you don't like downloading a bunch of apps on your phone, now we can still take part in the Unapologetic World together. And I'm just super appreciative of that. I had like when I dropped the second Taj and Tapes, like the second week, I got a write up from We Are Memphis, and they wanted to share what it was doing, and I'm only dropping these in the app right now, and it was like, dang, like there's no real like they would have to share the app link and say you have to go listen, and it's just sometimes people don't. Like if it's not there, like people are not gonna listen. And so I ended up having to upload it to SoundCloud, which nothing wrong with SoundCloud. But we're building community in the app, and I'm really gung ho on using the app because there's no rules, there's no algorithm we have to play by. There's nobody telling us we can and can't do nothing. There's nobody gonna flag us for nothing, and we really get to curate the experience the way we want to and the way we want to present it. And that's the best way to communicate with people who are interested in us and know that they can see it, know it's there. You know what I'm saying? Know it's not going to disappear if they refresh. Like it's all there, and we can communicate with people directly in the app. We're doing just a bunch of stuff like, we working on all kinds of dope updates. And so I'm just funneling everything into our space. You know what I'm saying? Because we can control it. And so every time I have to use an alternate platform to be able to share and, stay consistent and make sure like people know that, regardless, we dropping these things, whatever adversity we face. It's just a little like, come on, I want to be in the app. So this was a huge update. So again, shout out to Mad Beats. And yeah. All right, yeah. And so what you're listening to right now is just some of the tracks I did off this joint. I feel like this past this Tasha Tapes was So, all right. So my process is I make the beats on here, right? I do my pseudo arrangement, right? Then I leave it alone. I really don't come back to it until basically they're all done, all 14 or however many I'm doing for that volume. And then I bring them in the computer and I like am exporting and doing like my mixing all like sequentially. So I do like all the music making stuff, and then all in a row I do all like the mixing arrangement, exporting part, right? And I just remember feeling like, particularly at the end, I just was really not happy with how these were turning out. Like I just wasn't like overly impressed with myself when it came to these tracks. And so, and I feel like that started to like sort of affect my like confidence a little bit, because like I'm an artist, you're like, you want you want your shit to be hard, what I mean? You want it to be good. But two things happened that I think were like silver linings. Like, what was the lesson in making Taj and Tapes Volume 8? It was actually three. The first lesson was a lesson in momentum. Like, on average, like I know this hasn't been realistic to do like every day, but on average I want to be making 2 beats a day. That's my average, which means that by the end of by the time it's time to drop a Taj and Tapes, there should be about 14 tracks on it, right? If I don't make that doesn't mean I'm not going to drop Taj and Tapes, but that's kind of like my barometer of success. That's one of my I don't know, measures, my data points. I started off working on this volume very much hitting that 2 beats per day, like in real life, very consistent. Like I learned a lesson from the previous Taj and Tapes, and I was doing well with that. Then something happened. Honestly, I can't remember, but my momentum got thrown off, and it threw off that rhythm. And I feel like once that rhythm got thrown off, it was the first domino to a seed of like self-doubt and poor decisions. It's almost like I heard somebody say, you want to rush to do a good deed because that's going to open up the door to do the next good deed. Like, another way of putting it is when you're dirty, when you get dirty, you don't mind getting more dirty. But when you clean, you don't want to dirty yourself, right? Like when your room's clean, you want everything, you know what I'm saying? But once you let that slip and some clothes get on the floor, it's easier to keep letting clothes pile on the floor. So I feel like once that routine got disrupted for whatever reason, it made it easier to not be on that routine. And when I'm not on routine, my life, I'm just one of those people. I feel like my life is more difficult, and a lot of that is probably just psychological. It might not be, and it may be, be too hard on myself. But where I'm at right now, like that structure is super helpful. That's why these numbers, they like I'm watching the numbers add up. That's why I started counting the beats I've made since I've been on the push, and it's helping me like another number. It's like checking off boxes, and it's helpful for where I'm at right now in my life. Okay, so the lesson was when is to be wary of when that momentum gets shaken or when things disrupt a structure. When things disrupt a structure, to be wary of the consequences of that, and to not get caught off guard by it. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that was one lesson. The second lesson was how susceptible how susceptible my perception of how perceptible my creative output is to my self-talk. So I was not being kind to to Kid Maestro when it came to this, and it just honestly just made everything that I was doing after that like certain point just feel like I was just doing it for the numbers. Like it just wasn't an enjoyable time creating, because I started to believe that like I was reaching a plateau, or that I wasn't improving, and I just it just wasn't like fun for me. But I guess this is the other reason, like that it kind of made me, like, the thing I had to lean on was it made me remember my why of doing this. And I feel like I anticipated this happening in the very beginning of deciding to do this journey. And I decided that this had to happen because this, more than anything, more than about making heat, it was about self-improvement. And there were multiple places that needed improvement. It wasn't just like the quality of the music or anything. It was the consistency of making music and putting it out, right? Of showing up for yourself, of talking about what you're doing, and representing yourself as a working artist, working in the sense of like, I actually am making art. I'm not just kind of making art and servicing other artists. I also am a full going after it artist, and treating myself as such. There was multiple data points that making sure that these Taj and tape beat tapes are getting completed was for, and the quality of music is also part of that. And I feel like I remembered saying to myself, like, no matter what, you're gonna put these out, and if it's not great this week, then it will be. Then that's gonna inform the next week, and you're gonna have to get better. Like, that's just the way this works. You've been doing this long enough to know that, and you're doing this at a pace to speed up that process. Okay, so that helped me get through it, and I guess. And I don't know, that was helpful to know that there was more than just, there was more that was working than just how it sounded, right? It's not always about just how fire the track is, despite what that may seem, because that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to make music that resonates with people and that people like and that we like, right? Creating art. But there's more gain to be had by doing the work. And I was blessed to be able to remember that, and that helped me get through. And then the final thing was that, like, as I'm listening to all this, back to back, it wasn't, as bad as I thought. I'm actually rocking with this, and I'm hearing my sound evolve ever so slightly. Like, every iteration, I'm just hearing more and more of my personality and my personhood in this. I'm hearing a larger breadth, or however you say it, breadth of me across these tracks and across the projects, right? And that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming to make things that are more authentically me, and to create a world where everything I do may vary from track to track, but if it has a cohesion, and that's becoming more and more of a reality. And so I'm actually rocking with Taj and Taste Volume 8 more than I thought I would. And, you know, that and you know, and now it's out and it's over and I'm moving on to the next. But had I not completed it, had I just like, I need to spend more time, like, I wouldn't have the opportunity to learn the lessons that I need to learn from the completion of this thing. And I would still be ruminating on all those feelings, right? All that self-doubt, all that whatever, and continuing into a momentum of, you know, of making bad decisions. I'm making decisions that I don't feel like align with where I want to go. Incompleting things, not showing up, not hitting your quotas because of how you feel. All of those things that I don't think are going to work out for me, at least at this point in my life. So yeah, man, that was kind of what I learned by doing that jump. I think this is my favorite one. It may change, but this is my favorite one. It's Complicated. It's the third in the track list of Taj Taste Volume 8. But anyway, let's cook up. Let me put this mic down, get it out of my hand, and let's make a beat before I run out of time. Yeah, it's your heart. Anyway, let's do it. Turn it down some. Okay. You know what? I think I'm gonna. We'll see. I'm still learning this whole YouTube copyright stuff, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I have to like intermittently cut it out. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that. All right. I don't want to do that though. We'll see. pre-plan these samples or these beats. So what you're seeing is just like the legit me trying to find a sample to flip today. What I'm feeling. I think I sampled that already. right, here comes the difficult part. to figure out this chords. Guys, I think I've made a mistake. But I know there's something here. So let's take a different approach. The idea is not working. But I know I'm on the right track. Sound like some old Talib Kweli type shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'm gonna just Cool. So I did like an arrangement, and that'll be ready for me. And yeah, I'm a little over time, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. But man, that's what that was. Had like a rocky start, but it's a pretty decent beat. Sound like some old. I don't know. That flute just makes me think of Talib Kweli or something like that. Well, yeah. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Again, my name is Kid Maestro, and this is live from Butterfly. So stay creative, stay godly, and I'll catch y'all later.